What if I told you that the most successful info entrepreneurs you know aren't the ones running on 10 hours plus a day of work, aren't the ones running 16 hours every single day, but it's actually the ones that know exactly when and how to separate of working on the business and in the business. So if you're a current coach, consultant, you own your own info product and you're working non-stop every single day, this video is specifically for you, because in this video, I'm gonna go over the exact step-by-step process that you need to implement into your business so you can successfully run a multiple six-figure a month info product while working 4 hours per day. Now, I'll be using a lot of different examples from all of my current clients, so make sure you stick around because I'm giving hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of value in this specific video. So if you're watching this, you most likely have inconsistent cash collected months. You have no idea what's happening in your sales, or you spend all day in it looking at your DMs desperately, looking at your setters, and you even set or close your own leads. You have a very high or medium churn and turnaround on team players because you don't know how to properly manage your team. And because you're spending so much time on the sales, you're lacking on the posting, or you're spending too much time editing and you're lacking on the conversion, you're lacking on the fulfillment. Business, as you will see very soon, is very interlinked. If one link in the entire chain is broken, the entire chain snaps and businesses fail. So this video is specifically for you. Now, a successful info business that will run while you sleep needs 3 main components. Number 1 is going to be delegation, mastering the art of delegating. Number 2 is going to be understanding what and how to instill standard operating procedures or SOPs, as well as systems in your info business. And last but not least is how to build and source an A team. Having an A team in your business is one of the most vital components that, quite frankly, it's hard to find nowadays. Whether it's from the owners all the way down to the editors and VAs, having and building an A+ team is something that very few people will actually understand how to do, and it will determine your longevity in the space. So I have here what it's called the whirlwind effect, comprising of 3 main components: the delegation, system and SOPs, and the A team. And the reason why I had crafted this into a whirlwind effect is because if I have one link over here missing, or over here, or even over here, the whirlwind ceases to develop. The reason why a whirlwind in and of itself is so powerful is because there's constant wind inside the whirlwind. There is constant traction being produced. The only reason why it's able to sustain is because all different layers are moving at once. So if you miss one of these, the whirlwind ceases to exist, and so does your business. How do you actually create this whirlwind in your business? Well, number 1 is going to be understanding what you should or should not be doing every single day, and this will most likely impact and even speak to some of you guys. What you should not be doing is editing your own videos at all. This is one of the lowest leverage tasks you could be doing as an info business owner that could be making 100K a month. Instead, what you need to be doing is hiring editors, designers for your content, whether it's a graphic designer, whether it's a video editor, for short form, for long form. You need to delegate that to gain back your time. The second thing is you should not be setting your own calls ever, and you cannot be taking your own sales calls. Otherwise, you have no control over your time. You need to understand that to build a proper business, you will have to give part of the percentage. I see too many info business owners out there trying too hard to maintain high margins of 95%, 100%. That is not how you build longevity in the space. Learn to give some piece of the pie away to setters and closers so you can attain a larger pie down the road. That is the mindset you need to have. Last but not least, the biggest don't is you should not be living in the unknown on what your company numbers are. You have to be able to have systems in place that update data for you. You cannot be constantly updating data and look at spreadsheets all day. You have to have specific automations, specific systems set in place that will do all the work and entry all the data for you. So all you have to do is take a couple of minutes out of the day, look through your spreadsheets and see if everything correlates. How do you even make everyone so aware of what to input and the entire team to get them on the same page? This is where step number 2 comes into play, which is establishing SOPs. Your SOP in a company have to be so tight and sealed that it should have the same effect if I were to ask you what would happen if I were to drop a glass on the ground. Now, obviously, you would say that it would fall on the ground. If X happens, Y has to happen. If A gets dropped, B has to happen. That is exactly what your SOP should give in terms of an effect when something happens within the business. The entire team should be aware of what is going to take place and happen. Here's what that looks like in practice. Now, I am taking live examples of what I use in terms of SOPs for my own clients. Now, my agency, growthcapital.io, actually uses. I leverage end of day reports every single evening that specifically tracks the date, what they're struggling with, the objections that come up, are their tracker sheet up to date. For the KPI metrics, if they're a dialer, I track the amount of outbound dials, how many pickups, quality conversations, calls booked, calls on calendar, calls showed, closed sets, and this is just one facet of data that I'm tracking. I'm also tracking multiple other fronts. Another example is a BOD report. This is a lot when it comes to overall establishing energy ahead of the day. And you'll notice how historically, looking back on the days where the setters have established a high BOD, meaning a high expectation of how the day is going to go, they also are able to outperform. The team tracks data daily for accurate inputs, and the BOD helps the team visualize the next day and stay aligned. I also make sure that I establish a daily workflow. Every single person within the company, from the info owner all the way down to the VA, should know exactly their place of what they're doing on a day-to-day basis. From the moment they wake up to the moment they go to sleep, they need to know what their day will comprise of. Otherwise, churn will happen. Another amazing component to mention is your sales framework. This has to be cemented in the minds of your sales team, meaning you need to do constant role play and feedback with live examples of mistakes they might have done in their conversations or calls, so they can have live improved feedback. And nowadays, there are so many softwares out there, like Fathom, for example, that you could use that will easily tell you what the objection was and where it came up and how you could overcome it. Another SOP that I hold close to heart is a pre and post call process. This is especially important if you are a dialer or a closer. You must understand there are specific steps you have to take before you set someone and after you set someone, and who you have to send it off to and where you have to put the notes. So long story short, these are all just minor examples of what SOPs I would place into an info business that would essentially predicate the success of it. Because if I have the data of a company, I know I'm going to scale because I know exactly every bottleneck and I know exactly what's turning it to grow even more. Now, if I had to take a second and ask you, can you tell me right now off the top of your head in just a matter of 30 seconds, because this is how long it should take for you to tell me, what's your conversion rate? What's your inbound to outbound ratio? What's your drop-off rate? Where is your drop-off rate? What's your conversion to book a call? What's your qualification rate? What's your show-up rate? What's your closing rate? What is your most common objection? If you struggle to know even half of the numbers I had just described, then listen, you need someone to guide you. You need someone to teach you how to successfully run an info product business. Now look, I've scaled dozens of info product offers. You can look through all my story highlights on my Instagram as StecoGP. I've made hundreds, thousands, millions of dollars in the info product space. And I have an agency called growthcapital.io where I specialize in helping you not only build, but scale a sustainable business for the long-term future. And I have many testimonials from Andrew that I made from 7 to 75K purely organic in just a matter of 4 months, or my other clients, Vincent, where I scaled them from 110K to over $600,000 in just a 6-month partnership, and many more examples. So go ahead, click the link down below, and if you qualify to book a call, I'll personally be able to speak with you and give you a full audit, and I'll be able to tell you what systems I would use in your info business. So go ahead and book in a call down below. I'll wait till you do it. Yeah, you're not booking a call, are you? Go ahead, book a call. I'm just playing. All right. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Now, there's obviously more that you need to know, but this is the foundation of what data is needed to track within the sales team. But let's take a second and talk outside of sales. Imagine waking up and knowing exactly what makes your client want to pay you, how long they took to convert, why they chose you, and what content drives sales. This is how you should feel as a business owner. And the number one way we're able to do so is by having a rigorous onboarding document, which is just one example that I use for my many clients. I'm gonna give you an example of questions that I might include in this onboarding document. Every single time a prospect prospect closes, I know immediately, what was the first touch point? Why did they pay for our one-to-one mentorship? Which content were they exposed to that made them want to join us? Why choose us over everyone else? How long it took them to decide to work with us, and what we could have done to improve conversion earlier. Notice how I'm gathering so much feedback from just the conversion aspect. But while this is also taking place, I'm tracking the entire data extensively, the amount of inbound, outbound conversations, calls booked, closed sets, everything. So on a day-to-day basis, like what you're seeing over here, I can go back on any given day, I can go back and I could look at the front end and see what could have caused a higher amount of calls being booked, what in the content could have caused a higher amount of inbound conversations. How was the CTA? How was the credibility story sequence? How was the educational story sequence? I'm leveraging data to be able to understand what is working for my audience. And these are all just different examples that you could be tracking in your business to be able to actually understand where you're going wrong. Reply rate, conversion rate, drop-off rate, and booking and closing rate. Now, how can you actually get your team to be so efficient and motivated in tracking data? Because I'm not going to lie, this is a bit of a tedious process, so you cannot do this all by yourself. Your team has to be aligned and have the same vision as you do within the company so they could feel motivated to also track their own respective data. And this leads me to one of my main points that I love to talk about, which is the importance of an A team. Having an A team is something that money genuinely cannot buy. I cannot go out there and buy myself an A player. An A player is built. You must look at someone and build his foundation within to have an A player like talent, because the team has to understand two main components of the company to be able to further develop themselves into an A player. Number one is the vision. They have to understand what is the vision of the company. Where is the company headed? Do they see a future in the company? And do they see an ascension within their position, within their role? And number two is, what are your company's values? What are your core values? What are your core tenets when it comes to the company? If you don't have any, maybe this is why you're struggling so much to have an A-like team. Now, you might be asking, Jerry, why is the vision and the values so important? Because having an A-plus team will directly dictate how your revenue and cash collected will look like on a month-to-month basis. You see, most teams have months where it's extremely inconsistent, whereas a team with clarity and proper vision will have a linear growth every single time. The reason being is because a lot of the times you'll be surprised that people leave your company simply because their values do not match the culture. You see, if for example, I have a client that mainly has a younger team, anywhere between 18 and 22, they're all gonna get along extremely well. They all have energy. They all have that hunger. What happens if I put someone in their late 30s with a kid in that team? The culture is not gonna mesh well. When it doesn't blend well, people have fallouts. There's a bit of friction. You don't want that. You want everyone working together as a unity towards one specific outcome, because shared values is what drive alignment as much as possible. And leaders will lead by example every single time. So if you are an info owner, you by nature are a leader, and you have to unite them together. And by uniting them together, what's going to happen is they are all going to be able to look up to you. So if you have these people over here, they are all going to look up to you as the leader. This is you. And wherever you go, wherever you dictate the company goes, which is here, they're all going to follow. Because if your goal over here is 100K in a single month, then this gets related back to here. They now all know what the main mission is. And if there's values, it should be something like, for example, transparency is a big one that I hold. Another one is having a strong work ethic. Another good one as well over here could be just overall positivity, being positive. That's a huge one, for example, that many people overlook. Moral of the story is, by having values, you're able to unite people together. And when it's a group of people working towards one mission, you'll find it so much easier to attain success. Another very good point would be standards. Now, you need to pay attention to what I have to say for the next 5 minutes. Too many people ask their employees or setters or closers where they want to get to, and that's it. I don't ask that. I don't ask my DM setter, where do you want to be? 10K. Okay, let's get you to 10K. No, I break that down. Number one, I focus on why. Why 10K? What does 10K do in your life? You see, No one wants money just to have it sit in the bank. It's what the money allows them to do. I want to understand, what is my setter's professional, personal, and financial goal? What drives him? Is it his parents retiring his mom? What is it? And by being able to build that connection with the person on my team, I know what fuels them out of bed in the morning. So every single time I want to energize them, I say, look, you want to help your mom, you want to help your dad, you want to retire your parents, let's go. I'm there for you. Let's push it. 3 sets today. You got it. For your mom, you'll do anything. You see how much more that resonates contrary to just, yeah, go crush it, 10K a month, end of month is going to happen. It's a totally different story. Another extremely important topic that no one does, and this will separate you so much, is you need to break your goal into inputs. If I have a DM setter telling me that his goal is 5K a month, I'm not going to look at the end goal and push him. I'm going to reverse engineer by using exactly this chart over here and exactly this data over here. I'm going to reverse engineer my DM setter or my closer's numbers, so they're going to be able to know exactly what they have to do on a daily basis. So if someone tells me 10K, I'm going to reverse engineer and say, okay, 10K is 2.5K commissions a week. 2.5K commissions is X amount of closes, and given your average close rate, you have to set this many people. Given your average conversion rate, you have to talk to this many people. Given your average drop-off rate, you have to outbound this many people. Given your average inbound, you have to outbound, or you have to work at this specific time. If I know someone's outbound rate, inbound rate, conversion, drop-off, qualification, booking rate, show-up rate, closing rate, I just reverse engineer to the point where I now know you have to do 100 outbounds, 50 inbounds or follow-ups. You have to book 3 people. You have to get 6 people past the qualification question. You have to have 2 people show up from the 3, and out of the 2 people that show up, one of them have to be qualified and closed. Imagine how much easier it is for them to actually work towards 10K a month if they wake up today and say, all I have to do is this many inbounds, outbounds, follow-ups, ask this many qualified questions, and book this many people. Contrary to just, yeah, get after it today, hit 10K a month. By numbing it down, it becomes 10 times easier for them to actually conceptualize what they have to do to make 10K a month. And if you do this alone, you'll make so much more money. This goes back to my first point, which is link to personal motivation. So this actually go hand in hand together. By connecting the professional, personal, and financial goal, it creates extremely strong accountability, and they do not want to let you down, or themselves, their parents, whatever their goals might be, because now they shared their personal goal to you. And this creates a relationship between you and them because you now personally know what truly pushes them. So when needed, you can remind them of their personal, professional, and financial goal to set them straight. So to reiterate, by mastering proper delegation, system and SOPs, and a proper A team, this is how they will give you more than 100 hours in a single day, letting you work 4 hours per day. And all you should be focusing on is posting content and fulfilling for your clients, because everything else is streamlined the way a successful business should be. If this makes sense and you fully resonate with what I have to say, and you have inconsistent cash collected months, your acquisition might be broken, your conversion keeps dropping off, you aren't tracking your numbers, and you're having a hard time balancing your day from posting, fulfilling, doing sales, looking at your setting team, wondering why you're not making cash this month, wondering what you're going to do to make cash next month, not understanding what makes your clients convert. Listen, book a call down below. Let me audit your entire system. If I see there's a problem in it, I'll call it out. I'll let you know what it is, and we'll work together and fix it. I am that confident that I will be able to get you to at least 6 figures a month, if not more. Because if I'm able to get clients to over $1 million a month, I know I can get you to at least 100K a month, if not $500,000 a month. So by establishing these exact SOPs and systems, I will undeniably be able to scale any kind of problem you might have. So book a call down below, and I'll see you in the next one.